This is episode number 320 of the Homeowner Show. Whether you're DIY or looking to hire, we're here to help you find the best information and options for you and your home. My name is Kevin Hackett, and here with me is Craig Williams.
Hello, and welcome to the Homeowner Show. We are so glad that you could join us for another live episode here in the studio. And boy, do we have a full house tonight, Kev.
Yeah, this is maybe the most we've ever had in here at one time.
Not the most stuff, but the most people.
Well, we got a lot of stuff. That's for sure.
So let's get this thing rolling, man.
All right.
Okay. So here's news, fun stuff for the beginning of the show.
All right.
That the people love that. Let me tell you what's not a good idea.
Okay.
Is to schedule a podcast on your anniversary.
That was the first dumb mistake.
The day after you buy a new horse.
Yeah, and you don't even have the horse here to show anybody.
I don't. It's not even. So it's yeah. I'm not an intelligent man.
Well,
but
we all knew that.
That being said, I am taking her on a lovely trip tomorrow.
Yeah,
for about a week.
That's good.
So
she's gonna love that.
We're not celebrating today.
Are you gonna take your wife?
Yes.
Oh, not just the horse.
Not just the horse.
The horse is a dude, right?
The horse is a he.
Okay.
So, yeah. No.
All right, good to know.
Yeah, no, that's the first time I've been to a horse auction in almost 20 years, and
Really?
I had a blast.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Were they cutting and everything?
Cutting.
Yeah, what were they doing out there with the horses? Were they just walking them through?
Yeah, they just bring them out there. But so
they weren't cutting or anything.
No. It was like if you could ride them, you could ride them back and forth. You could lead them back through. The biggest sale of the day, there was a 1-year-old stud colt that sold for $32,000.
You didn't get that one?
I didn't get that one.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I also didn't want that one.
Oh.
Have no need for a stud colt.
Not with that attitude.
I was looking for something I could ride with my kids.
Okay.
So, and I got him.
Yeah.
So I'm
awesome.
I'm stoked.
How old is he?
He's 12.
12?
Yep.
All
He's
right.
12. He's a brown and white paint.
Oh, I told you, paint have always been my favorite horses.
Dude, I've always wanted
loved
one,
them.
and I've never had one. This is my first one.
Okay.
So I'm excited. So
Cool.
we went for a ride yesterday. We got to know one another.
Yeah?
I think we understand each other.
Does he like you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, good.
So, but he's hanging out at my mom and dad's while
cool.
we're out of town because I don't need crazy horse here alone with my children.
Well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but before we do that, we need to talk about our sponsors.
Let's do it.
We're really glad that we have some awesome sponsors. The number one sponsor we're going to talk about tonight is Lone Star Appliance Repair.
Lone Star Appliance Repair. Listen, we talk about this all the time. It is way cheaper to repair your appliances than it is to replace them. So get a qualified technician out there to get a peek at what's going on. If it's not getting cold, if it's not washing the dishes, if it just stinks in the clothes washer, that's probably your fault. But they can fix it. They have maintenance plans, actually just to come out and clean them. Cleaning your appliances is a major deal in order to make them last longer, so they can take care of that for you as well, not just repair them. But give them a call. What's the number?
936-647-2364.
Fantastic company. We also have True Texas Solar and Roofing now.
That's right.
So they're not just doing the solar stuff, they're doing the roofing, but this is a full energy independence company that can get you set up with solar, with a generator, with a new roof, with a whole home battery. And they can actually integrate that entire system into your home energy needs and plans. That will get you set up, not for complete energy independence, because if you're on the grid, you can't get off the grid. I don't care what you saw in any movie. You're not getting off the grid. But
No, they want you there.
They will make sure that you don't tap into the grid as much as possible and make sure that you have energy independence for you and your home. Any other specials that they're running right now?
No, not right now. But here's the thing that I will tell you. If you're interested in solar, now's the time to get in because with all the stuff going on with the government and different, Elon Musk, different things here and there, who knows what incentives are going to be available next month? Who knows? So there are some pretty cool incentives out there to help you with taxes and other things. The cool thing is tariffs aren't going to bother you because they use USA made, products. And so that's not going to be a problem, but definitely call Josh, get, his team is awesome.
Right.
They can help you figure everything out. And here's the deal. Calling them is not going to be a big deal because they're not going to try to sell you something that you don't need. If they determine that you don't need solar or that it's not going to be the best fit for you, they are not going to sell you on it. So they're truly going to help you, which is not the same as every other solar company out there. So make sure that you give them a call and check them out. 936-286-8325.
Awesome.
All
We
right.
also got Crazy Clean.
Crazy clean.
Listen, y'all, if you haven't tried it out yet, it is worth what is it, like $33?
Yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, just for one.
Yeah.
But like if you're tired of cleaning your toilet, if you're tired of the ugly stain that shows up, the ring from hard water. I know hard water is a big deal around here.
It is.
And that can create a nasty ring at the bottom of the toilet. No one wants to clean that.
No, I mean, a lot of people just think their toilet's too dirty, and they're I got to get a pumice stone out and clean this thing or whatever, and then they never do it, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And the truth is, you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to put chemicals in your toilet. You don't have to put the nasty blue stuff in there. Look, your toilet water is not blue, y'all. It's not green. It's not blue.
There's nothing natural about that.
It should be clear. And the truth is, you don't even have to get chemicals in there at all because this thing is completely natural. It uses magnets. It is a revolutionary thing that has been actually. I say it's revolutionary. The product is revolutionary. The technology's always been around.
It's been around forever.
They just figured
as
out
long as we've been piping water into people's houses.
That's right. They just figured out how to leverage it and
Put it in your toilet.
And guess what? This thing's going to last, they say, at least 10 years.
Yeah.
They warranty it for 10 years, which means it's probably going to last longer than that for $33.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
And I think if you buy 4 of them right now, you get like
it's a discount.
some sort of discount.
Yeah,
It's like
so
20, 30%, something like that.
Go to their website. It's crazyclean.com, and that is crazy with a K and clean with a K. Check them out. Give them a call. You can order it right there. Pretty simple. And we're so glad that they're one of our sponsors. Give them some love. Let them know that you found them on the Homeowner Show. And thanks for sponsoring us, Crazy Clean.
Awesome. Let's get into this crazy episode because it's going to be a wild night. Let's go around the table and introduce ourselves so that everybody knows. Corey, you're the veteran.
My name's Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin.
Oh,
okay.
we're not starting with me.
What?
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Greg. I'm sorry.
To my left.
Okay.
Corey, you're the veteran here. Let's get it rolling with you.
All right, cool. Appreciate y'all having me. Corey Reeds with Reeds Realty Group. We're a husband and wife team out of Montgomery County, specializing in everything real estate. So couldn't be happier to be here, and I think this is going to be a ton of fun.
We'll let the night roll on. You'll be happier.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, my name is James Barnes. I'm with CMG Home Loans, and I am very excited to be here as well. Learning a lot from you guys already.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's gonna be a fun night for sure.
Dude, shout out your show.
My show. So I have. Oh my God! I'm sorry. My brain just went out.
It's called a podcast.
It's the podcast. Because I just rebranded. So my show is called Lone Star Living. Lone Star Living on YouTube.
All right, great.
But I appreciate you.
Like Lone Star Law.
Lone.
Oh, okay.
Lone Star, like the Lone Star State.
Oh, I love it.
That's
Now I
Texas.
Yes.
So thank you guys.
She's just messing with you because you hadn't had her on yet.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. I'll have you guys on my show too.
My turn?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Hey there, Laura Jackson with Upward Title. I am your marketing support specialist, and I'm excited to be surrounded by so many amazing people in the industry, whether it's title, lender, real estate agent, or any of the people that we actually need in our business. So thanks for having us here today. We really appreciate it.
Awesome, yeah.
And then now I'd like to pass the microphone to the Texas Regional Director.
Thank you, Laura. I'm excited to be here as well. My name is Anna Sheffield. I am with Upward Title as well. I have the pleasure of working all over the state, not only here in Houston, but in Dallas and San Antonio to help close all of those real estate transactions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody being here. I mean, if you guys hadn't picked up on the theme yet, we're going to be talking about plumbing tonight.
That's right. Plumbing. Yes. How do we get that plumbing from the street to your house?
Yeah.
I mean,
we
actually
expect
from
you
your
guys
house
to
back
have
to the street.
all the answers.
I feel like real estate is definitely all the plumbing ways. It takes you different journeys.
Well, so let me...
I think we handle all of that, don't we?
Yeah, it's involved.
Yeah,
it's
I
involved.
thought so.
So let me kick it off with this because we had a clip this last week that just took off like none other. And Kevin and I were having a conversation about pre-treats on homes. And I had made the statement that, for people that have been listening to the show for a long time, I do pest control and I work with a lot of builders. And I was having a conversation with one of these. I'm not going to mention the builder because I don't want them to think that I'm throwing shade at him or anything like that. But like the statement that this guy made to me from this building company was like, look, we're moving out of building luxury homes right now because they're just not selling like they used to. And we posted the clip, and I was making that statement in conjunction with like that conversation. Part of that conversation was they're not requiring pre-treats on these new builds. And everybody jumped in the comments, was like, you're a moron. You don't know what you're talking about. Every home has to have a pre-treat. And I'm like, yeah, it depends on where you live. Like it really does. I mean, like Montgomery County, you don't have to have a pre-treat. City of Houston, you got to have a pre-treat. But what everybody seemed to be getting upset about was whether or not everyone was like, no. I mean, people are still building luxury homes. It's like, I know people are building luxury homes. I just don't think they're building as many luxury homes as they did, mostly because, and you might be able to speak to this more than anybody, but like, I don't think people can afford them like they used to. And I was like, no, you're a moron. And I'm like, well, then go out and do your own research or start your own show. But I want to hear from you guys. I mean, like, what are you guys seeing and hearing, as you guys are feet on the ground for home sales, for home loans, for titles, and you guys are seeing what's coming across the books. I mean, are you guys seeing luxury go up? Are you seeing luxury go down? Are you seeing more like lower income housing being sold? Like, what are you guys seeing actually out there in the field?
You want it from a realtor point of view?
I want it from everybody's perspective.
All right, so I'll give you a realtor point of view. We are having more success on our luxury side as opposed to our 350, 375, 400 and down. Because the market doesn't directly affect them as much.
Sure.
With the 7% or 6.5 or 6.8 or, whatever decide, what color juice it's drinking that day, because it literally changes daily, right? So when you start talking luxury and you start talking a certain lifestyle, people are looking for amenities. People are looking for architecture. People are looking for acreage. People are looking for locality, amenities. I believe all of those things take outdoor living spaces. Those all take account, and the people with the luxury price tag aren't looking at the market.
Yeah, they're not dissuaded by that.
They're not.
Yeah.
The market, as you're talking about, is how's luxury doing? Well, we just went under contract today. Matter of fact, on a $1.3 million listing in Spring Branch, and I was out on a listing appointment this Saturday against some heavy competition. Actually, won the listing, and it's going to be listed for $1.1 million in Conroe next week. So luxury is moving.
Yeah.
So.
Is the one, I mean, like, are the ones that you guys are, and like Corey, this can be you, it can be anybody, but like,
sure.
New builds, are they in neighborhoods? Are they like buying property and then building it? Are they neighborhood homes? Like that's really kind of what I'm dialing in on.
Both. So we have got a client that just bought 3.6 acres to build a luxury home on in Crown Ranch. And then we've also got, we work with custom home builders as well, and we do the listings for them. And we have a 1.275 on an acre and a half of property. And then we've also got the one we went under contract on today and the listing that's coming that are all resale. They're older homes.
Yeah.
So ours is, we're kind of seeing on that luxury price point, it doesn't matter if it's new build, acreage, in town, they all have something to offer. And if you're looking at the lower price points, those are more subdivision homes. Those are more community homes.
Right. Well, I'm glad you said that, because I think that's a nuance that the people that were commenting on it were picking up on.
Yeah.
I was talking to about like the guys like, and this isn't who I was talking to. I'm talking about guys like Lennar, David Weekley, people that are actually doing like neighborhood development kind of stuff. Sorry, what were you?
No, I agree with you. So, and kind of piggyback on what Corey said. So the luxury market's always been a smaller niche, and they're not as affected by interest rates for sure.
Sure.
However, you're 100% right. These bigger builders, I've seen this product now. They are shrinking. It's shrinking, and it's because of affordability for a lot of people. So the luxury market is a smaller niche. Then you've got everybody else. And so these builders I have seen it. I'm doing a loan right now for somebody in Willis, as a matter of fact, right up the street here. The house might be 1,000 square feet.
Right.
Might be.
Oh, wow.
In the whole neighborhood. They look like tiny homes.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. It looks like. So it's interesting to me because I've been doing this for a while, like a lot of us have, and I've just seen how you go from it used to be they built these big houses, the production builders specifically. I've worked for 4 production builders, and the sales keep shrinking and shrinking.
So
and shrinking.
how are those homes selling right now? Because the market's fluctuated so much in the
Right.
past 5 years,
Yep.
and with it doesn't really matter. I mean, we could talk about price point all day long, but I'm curious, how are they selling? Because I got a friend who just recently sold a house, took her like 6 months to get it off the market, and another friend who put their house up, and within a week they had multiple over asking offers. Now, I know a lot of that has to do with where the house is listed at financially, but I'm just curious what you're seeing the market bear right now.
That's probably a question more so for Lori.
All right. So to answer that, a couple months ago, we were at 3 months of inventory.
Okay.
Currently, we're at 5.6.
Oh, dang.
Okay. So we are nearing what is called a balanced market.
All right.
Okay. So new construction homes they're motivated. So we're seeing more sellers concessions, more BTSAs, which is a bonus to commission, which we can give as a realtor, give to the buyer to help them with closing costs and things of that nature. They're also buying rates down. We've seen them all the way from 1.99 on a stair step, like a 1.321 type deal, where it goes up gradually, or we're seeing them at 4.89 or 5.99 locked, but still playing closing cost and title and things of that nature to get them in the door. But what we have seen is the earnest money on new construction go up drastically. It used to be $500 would lock you in a contract. Now it's $5,000 will lock you in a contract because they want people that are actually serious and not just tire kickers. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but if you're looking at new construction and they're taking that off the market for somebody to buy, they're wanting skin in the game.
Yeah.
So does that answer your
Well,
question?
yeah, no, I think it does. I think that what I'm hearing is you may have your house on the market for a little bit longer, but
All right, so your question was, are they moving? To answer that, not as much as you would think, and that's where all the incentives are coming in because they're trying to move them faster.
but that feels better on some level for a buyer for sure.
Well, no, it's a balanced market. We're
But
getting-
I think that balance though,
Right.
because it's been hard for a buyer for a while,
Right.
Especially with the not just the prices being high, but also the interest rates being high, people having a hard time getting funded at all. So I think it feels a little bit better to go, oh, you're gonna bring a little bit something to the table. Now I feel like I'm getting a deal, even if I'm not getting a deal. It feels a little bit better for the buyer. Now the seller, no, it's still what it is.
It's a balanced market.
But it's balanced,
Right?
Yeah, I
So-
like it.
So this is the feel of where real estate should be.
Yeah.
Historically, 6% is average across the board.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah,
if
I was going to say, it doesn't. I don't even think it feels fair to say that it's high.
it's not high.
not.
It's historically average. Okay. And especially if you can buy the rate down to 6.5 or 6%.
Sure.
I bought a house in 2002 and I paid 6% for it and thought I got a great deal.
Sure.
Right. And then we got spoiled after 2009 with the housing crash. And then it went down to 4s, 3s, and then 2s when COVID hit. Right. And now what we're seeing is a market adjustment.
Right.
Exactly.
And a market adjustment is going to start working with the price of the homes as far as the inventory of the homes versus the interest rate. So all those three work together. All right. So when you have a balanced market, the seller's still selling for fair market value. The buyer's paying fair market value.
Yeah.
So what was happening in the 2%, 3%, 4% error is you were seeing crazy numbers, over market inflation, appraisals coming in all over the place. And now appraisals are starting to come in a little lower and the market is rectifying itself. So
Good.
That's
good.
It's good for everybody,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But on a real estate side, the hustlers are going to win and the ones that aren't.
Right.
Because we're back to old school tactics with open houses, farming, cold calls, like reaching out to people, SOI, sphere of influence, your network, your people, all of that. So,
Don't forget, you've got to be a good negotiator now.
and you got to
right?
negotiate. Yes, because
So-
you might have you might have multiple realtors walking into that house trying to secure that deal, right? And then on the buy side, you've got to represent your buyer as well and put them in the best light they can based on what the seller's looking for. So it's a tap dance.
That's not cool, man. That sounds like
Absolutely.
work.
Yeah,
I feel
well,
like,
it is work.
I really feel like these days you have to really know how to perform your job as a real estate agent. Like you've got to hire an agent that knows how to negotiate, right?
Yeah. So all of these, people that came in going, I'm going to sell all these houses because, I'm getting into real estate. They've been in real estate for 14 months and then they're getting out, right? And they're like, I lost all my money because they didn't know what they were doing. And these 30-year, people that are veterans, they're out there doing it and going, these people don't know what they're doing. They've got it easy, quote unquote, but it will get back to what you're saying. And so it really is going to matter that those people who are buying and selling a home are vetting your realtor. Don't just hire your next door neighbor or the person you go to church with or whoever it is. Like find who is actually knows what they're doing, has some history, some track record, and vet them. I think it's really, really important.
Winners win. So the reality is when rates are 3%, everybody feels like a winner. Everybody got a participation trophy as a realtor.
And everybody wants to be a realtor.
Right. And everybody wants to be in the
3%.
business because everybody can win. But honestly, people like Corey and people that have been doing this like are real professionals, they like it when the market's hard.
Sure.
Because they're all the people that are the fake, they're out. Right,
The tools and the grit.
Right. See, the cores are like people like that. They're just going to do what they need to do, no matter what the market. It doesn't matter what the market is.
Sure.
People have to buy. People have to sell.
People have to move. People have to
They
relocate.
do. It doesn't matter what the interest rate is. People are going to make those.
I was
those
actually
moves.
going to say when y'all were talking about the market, Texas is a really viable market right now. And if you look at the people who are coming here, we are seeing a massive amount of relocation from influx of it. And so if we look at transactions that we're closing, they are a little bit on that higher luxury and they are relocation. So it's really great for our market here in Texas.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, just for context, I just looked it up. I was curious what the interest rate was in the 80s because I remember my parents buying a house in the 80s. No,
The average was around 12 to 16%.
Yeah.
So here's what it says. Yeah, the average 30-year fixed rate was 13.7.
There you go.
So, but it peaked at 16.6.
Exactly. And they were and people were buying houses all over the place.
Yes. Buy that and then see how you feel now.
It's like Christy said, is that when you live in dirt?
That was the dirt house.
And you'll be happy to have it.
But listen, the reality is people don't care about they don't care about here. They care about right now. And Corey's 100% right. We got so spoiled after COVID. Actually, even before that, let's go back to 2008. Rates went dropping down because they had to encourage people to go buy homes, and we were spoiled for so long. And Corey's like, we're in adjustment now, and so it took a while, especially in 2022. Because I don't know if you guys remember, the first 5 months of 2022 is when you had 50 offers for one house.
Yeah.
Rates started to go up, and then the spigot got turned off in like the summer of 2022. It started to slow down, but. Like I said, we're just into that part where we're adjusting, and it just takes people. We're still here. We're still standing. Yeah. So,
Well, I mean, I'll be transparent about like just this property. So we bought this property for about 320, right?
How many acres?
6,
Yeah.
Sorry.
right?
6 acres.
Um,
Tell them about your bees too.
well, yeah, I got.
They
yeah,
have nice bees.
Don't bring me too much attention.
Need to know basis on that. For real.
We don't like GPS coordinates. But during 2021, 2022, 3 times got offered $1 million, right? Which is hard to turn down,
absolutely.
right? But like, what am I going to do with that?
What are you going to buy?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to turn around and you're not going to be able to get 6 acres again.
I mean,
not with
y'all,
the buildings that you have on this property.
I mean, you might know, but do y'all know of any place like this that I could buy for $1 million right now?
Not with the amount of
No.
Not with
Buildings and
acres.
right.
No.
It's like that sounds great.
Yes, house, yes, but
Right.
not with the compound.
Right. Right.
Right.
So
100%.
and so you have to do that like value adjustment in your head. Is like, what do I have, and what is the market actually doing? Like, what can I like? I'd have to like move to like, I don't know, north of Willis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I could.
No, Northeast Louisiana.
Yeah, that would do it.
So the point
raise
she's
rice and
making,
crawfish.
the point she's making is, why would you ever do that?
I wouldn't.
Invest in a casino.
Yeah.
But that's the situation where we live, and I think that where it really hurts people is first time home buyers are really still struggling. They're going, I don't have that kind of money. I don't have any equity to put in here, and the
Well, it's a different world too. I mean, you brought up 2008. I mean, it changed the qualifications for buyers,
Yes.
right? I mean, like what? And the thing that I keep hearing is like, I don't make enough money.
Yep.
I've got student loan debt. I've got all this stuff going on, which like me personally, I take as like an excuse, like figure it out. But you know, what are like the hurdles that these guys are having to get through in order to get to, you know, owning real estate right now?
So the school loans is funny you bring that up. I'm not even going to talk about it. It's a crazy situation I got right now with somebody that's got a ridiculous amount of school loans. It's insanity. And I'm like, are you a doctor?
No, they're not.
No.
No.
It's insanity. So it is a big deal for a lot of people. School loans are definitely one because now, and the thing about it is like the rule changed a couple years ago. It was worse 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
For school loans. Yeah, we were taking 1%. Now pricing, of course, was different, a little different than it was 2 years ago, than it is now. Now we're taking 0.5%. It's still keeping a lot of people from not being able to qualify. And we're talking specifically first-time
real
homebuyers.
quick. What do you mean when you're
Sorry
saying
about
1%?
that. So whatever the percentage, whatever the school loan is, we are required if they're not in repayment. Okay, which honestly I try and tell people, hey, you're gonna get. It's actually better if you are in repayment because it's almost always less than me taking 0.5% of the.
And what can you explain by repayment?
So they have school loans and they actually have a repayment plan. So they're paying $50 a month. I'm just using whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
it's not in deferment basically.
That's-
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a
Yeah,
deferment.
okay.
Yeah. So anybody that's in deferment right now, because I see it all the time, they think they're good. And I'm like, no, you're not. Just because you think
It's still
you're good.
on your record.
Yeah, right.
I still
You're
see
not
that
good.
number.
Unfortunately, I have to take 0.5% of that and count it as a mortgage. Excuse me, as a payment.
Okay.
That's just the rule. So it used to be 1%. So we've gotten better,
Okay.
and unfortunately, it's still a roadblock for a lot of people. So that's probably one of the bigger things. Honestly, that's just funny that you bring that up because
Well, part of that I would assume is because of the size of the loan. I mean, you got $150,000-$200,000
100%.
more than that, you know, and 0.5% of that
Yes.
on a monthly payment. I mean,
Yes.
that can wind up being multiple hundreds of dollars, and
100%, yeah.
that in and of itself will keep people from being able to pay for
it
something.
does. Yeah, it does. A lot of times, and especially first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
Like I said, they don't know until we start looking at it. So,
Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind, James. For our new home buyers out there, let's say they've been in a job for 1 year and they've switched to a new job. Then you have a total of 2 years. Is that good? Does it matter if they switched careers per se?
yes,
Okay.
it matters. So, a couple things with this. So, yes, it does matter. If you're changing careers, it absolutely matters. Now, if you're a W-2 employee and you're going to another W-2 employee job, a lot of times we can kind of tie it together some kind of way. But if you're going from W-2 to 1099, it's going to be hard. If you're going from W-2 to W-2,
Okay.
completely changing jobs or career, should I say, it's possible we can kind of try and weave it together some kind of way to make the connection. But yeah, you W-2 to 1099 or W-2 to self-employed, oh my God.
But as
You're
long as-
almost.
So as long as you stay like W-2 to W-2
Yes.
and there's no lapse really in employment?
We usually can get around that, yeah.
Okay, great.
It's just
Because
the-
that's always
So-
the question I
Self-employed
get
people.
from new home buyers,
So-
first-time home buyers.
The question I would have there though is, okay, so what is the length of time we need to be considering? So if I'm a home buyer and I'm trying to go out there and buy a home, let's say I have switched.
Yep.
How long? Let's say, and I would assume the harder one is going from W-2 to 1099 because
for
it's
sure.
you know
Yeah, that's not
way
gonna work.
more fluctuation there. How much history do I need there?
30 days on
Okay.
a job. So if you're changing jobs and you start a new job, we only need 30 days.
Okay.
But
Same industry.
Okay, that was a lot.
yes,
Yeah.
but you were talking about 1099. Although you may not be able to get, there are other loan programs out there. They're just not the traditional. So there's other ways to get around if you're 1099. If you got some money, there's other programs that are out there that could help somebody get into a home. just maybe not a traditional conventional loan or
Right.
FHA or
Like
something.
staple loans, things like
Right,
that.
yeah. There's a non-QM type products that are out there for people that are in that situation. And there's a lot of people.
Do you do those kind of products?
Absolutely. Yeah, so if you're in a situation where or people that don't, that like to not pay taxes legally,
Legally not
they
playing.
write off a lot of
They
stuff.
write off.
I get it.
Well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
that's
think
where
what
that's
you're talking about. You hear a lot of these, like quote unquote, like life coaches and things like that. That trying to encourage young people into entrepreneurship.
Right.
Will tell them like keep your regular job and then get a side hustle, and that's probably why they're telling them to do that.
Yeah.
It's like they understand how difficult it is to borrow money. When you're self-employed.
It's a challenge. It's not impossible.
It's not.
So if you want to, be
If you're really,
self-employed,
really
don't
good
do
at being
it.
self-employed, you can find money.
Absolutely, it's out there. So, but yeah, there's other programs that are available for people that are in that situation, and so I have a lot of those people. So.
What I hear is like one of the most important things is find. I mean, and Corey, I know that you're good at what you do, and so you're probably encouraging people to do this to begin with. But if I'm out there going, "Hey, I want to buy a house," one of the things I got to know is how viable that is. And I know you're not probably going to talk to anybody until they've already gotten pre-qualified. That's my guess.
No.
Because it's a waste of your time.
No, it's not.
It's not a waste of your time.
No.
Okay,
And
tell me
no.
about it because I'm curious because I think that
don't know. They
because let's just say that let's say I'm out there I'm doing good. I make $60,000 a year and so I feel like
You're
I
not
can
doing
go.
good at that.
I feel good about myself. Mama said I was doing good, so I think I can buy me a $400,000 house. But I can't probably. But what do I do in that situation? How do you handle that, Corey?
What are we saying? You make 60? You make
Well,
80?
I don't know that
What-
matters.
Are you requesting that people be pre-approved before you
All right,
show
so
them?
That's a great question.
well, that's where I was going. Thank
As
you,
she,
Laura.
as she takes a sip from
Yeah.
her cup.
I was just circling back.
And I appreciate that very, very much. So, circling back, if somebody calls me and starts telling me that they found a house and they want to go buy it, my first question to them is, have you talked to a lender and are you pre-approved? Because if not, I've got several I can send you and you tell me which one you like the best. And then you send me a pre-approval letter and we'll work with the lender and then we will go schedule your
And that is
showing.
great because you have educated, you have helped your client because a lot of buyers don't know that.
Right.
So for a buyer to go to an agent and ask to see a house and be turned down because they're not pre-approved, well, maybe that buyer didn't know. So as a good realtor, it is your job to educate the client and send them several referrals of great industry experts to get them what they need. So I love
Well,
that.
everybody's case is different, right? And whether you're a broker or you work for a big bank or whatever, everybody has different programs and everybody has different situations. So we usually give them a handful to choose from. And in doing so, looking for the right fit, maybe it's a non-QM, maybe it's a standard, maybe it's FHA, maybe it's a conventional, maybe it's USDA. I mean, all lenders specify and specialize in something, and they're all good at their avenue, right? So some are better than others at certain roads, so to speak, right? So stay in your own lane. That's
Well, and I think
right?
there's multiple reasons why you want to do this, though. One of them is because you have to know what you can afford. You have to know that. But here's the other thing. Let's say that you want to afford something and you can't. The lender can help you understand what you need to do to get to the place you really want to be.
Yes.
So this is a big deal right now because I see this all the time. People's perception of what $400,000 is today and what that feels like monthly payment wise, they're completely off base.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's like $1,000,
They forgot
right?
about the HOA.
Right, exactly. That's my point, Kevin.
Insurance, electricity.
For $1,000, I can get into a
They
400.
do.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
And they don't know. And a lot of that also is insurance.
Yeah.
There's another thing right now. It's high right now.
It is.
And so I used to guesstimate insurance, like when I'm doing an estimate for. I don't do that anymore because
you
it's
can't.
so
You can't.
different.
Yeah.
So
And you better check that roof.
for like Corey and like, and
don't get
this
it
is the
started.
thing. And Corey knows like there are unfortunately realtors that there's Pop-Tart realtors
Yes.
that somebody calls and they just go like they do it. They're still out there, but
Don't
it makes
use
no
those
sense.
guys.
So to me, it's to the buyer, it's for you. This is not for me this is for you. Like, why would you not know where you're at financially? Because rates are all over the place, insurance, all kinds of things. But yeah, the perception that people have of what a payment would be, because I get people to say, oh, I want a $1,500 payment. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. What type of a price point are you looking for? Oh, well, $350, and I'm like,
no,
this is not 2003.
Are you gonna put down $180,000? Because
But they
maybe
don't know, right?
They don't have
but
any
they just don't know, and so that's our job is really to
and I
let
think
people know.
the other thing that I see all the time is people like, well, I got great credit,
Right.
But
Oh,
you know,
gosh.
what does that even mean to you? Because what you think that means, and oh, by the way, your little credit card
I was just about to
statement
say,
is wrong.
Credit Karma told them.
Your credit statement is wrong,
Right.
and it may be close, but it doesn't really, and you don't really know what that means. And so I think that's your credit worthiness
Right.
is a real important thing for you to know.
So let's talk about that, because I feel like credit sometimes is a huge, it's almost like they don't want to talk about it. They're embarrassed by their credit. And I tell first-time home buyers all the time, like, please don't be embarrassed. We have seen everything that you can imagine, and we understand, and don't ever feel embarrassed to go to someone, a lender or a realtor, and say, hey, my credit's not so good. Well, guess what? Your lender, your agent, and also title can refer you to someone that can help you with that. Like, never be embarrassed by your credit score. Let us help you, because we want you to be able to buy that home. Absolutely. Don't hide because you have a bad credit score, or you think you have a bad credit score, because sometimes they go, I've got a credit score of, I'm like, girl, that's not bad.
Right. Oh, I hear it. My score is only 760, and I'm like,
Well, that's
I think
all
we
right.
can work with
Yeah.
that. We're okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I think on top of that, a lot of people are so uneducated on what credit is. Like, I'll
100%.
tell you this, like, I remember, y'all gonna laugh at me because I didn't know what I didn't know, but early on in our marriage, it was time, we needed to get a credit card. We didn't have one at the time. We needed to get a credit card, and I was pre-approved for a $30,000 limit. And so my wife was like, oh, we don't need that much. So just tell them to bump it down to like 15, I think is what we did. And I told them that, and they're like, sure. Well, that was dumb of us because we didn't understand that your credit, the amount of credit that you can have, it makes a difference on your credit score and how much your utilization, how much you're using of that.
Yeah.
There's so
Huge.
much. There's so much that goes into your credit score that most people are unaware of. So again, I guess the thing that I'm harping on right now, we've spent way too long talking about it probably, is the education side of buying a home is so vitally important. You can't just decide one day I'm going to do something and then have spent no time educating yourself on what that actually means.
Well, I would like to add to this. Okay. Not only is the pre-approval important, the earnest money is important.
Okay. What is
So
earnest money?
So I can get somebody approved for a $400,000 loan, but I need to make sure they've got 1% in their checking account so they can put it down on the house that they find.
Do you mind if we have Anna explain what earnest money is for
No,
anybody
that's
that's
an,
watching?
that's an escrow
great.
thing.
Yeah.
So that's perfect.
Thank you, Laura.
Take it away.
Well, an earnest money is negotiated, but most of the time you will find that agents will negotiate a percentage of the sales price, and the earnest money is money that is deposited with a title agency, primarily because we're a neutral third party to the transaction, and so it goes into escrow, and it's that money that is saying, "Hey, I intend to purchase this house from the seller." Thank you. And then it is applied towards their closing once they go to closing, right? Now, earnest money is immediately deposited with the title company, and a lot of people don't know that. And so they think, oh, I'll give you a check and that'll, sit there. But no, it's immediately deposited. Again, it's part of the contract, so it makes the contract fulfilled. and then it stays in escrow until you get to closing.
What happens if
You guys are essentially like verifying that they're telling the truth about the money that they gave you.
Well, and that's a good question because a lot of time with the money that we do receive, it does require verification, right? So if it's a cashier's check, we're calling to verify that the cashier's check is good. It's where a lot of fraud happens. Yes, in that instance. So yeah.
I watched Catch Me If You Can. So, all right.
You know,
We should have a whole episode on fraudsters.
as a matter
in.
of fact, that is actually the number one issue that title companies are facing today is fraud, and so much of it from earnest money. I mean, we had a cash transaction where a buyer brought us a cashier's check because they wanted to put most of their money down. Then within, I think it was like 2 to 3 days after the file opened, they terminated the contract and they wanted us to wire all their earnest money back to them. This was upwards of like $30,000. Well, we called to verify the cashier's check and it was actually fraud. So had we actually wired that money out, we would have been out that money. So
That's slick.
oh yeah, new scams every day of the week going on with those.
Every day. And let me tell you, I see them so many. Like I talk to agents all day, every day. And they say, oh, I had a buyer from X, state. And I'm always like, they start talking. I'm like, that sounds like fraud.
Right.
Because we experience the same thing in title. It could be someone saying that they're an agent or no, they're a seller. They already have an offer on their house. They don't want to use the agent. I'm going to send in the contract. We immediately ask for their driver's license and they run. There's so many chances for these people to get in and scam you. You have to be so careful.
Yeah.
The thing about our company is our wire desk is like Fort Knox. I mean, like, because of these fraudsters, we have to be so careful. You have to fill out several documents. You have to do a knowledge-based questionnaire to be able to wire or accept the wire because of this. And we make sure that everything in your money is protected. And it's very important that you do use a title company that does practices safe things like that because your money can get taken very easily.
So there's a few things I want to say here. Number one, most people have no idea about title company because I don't deal with that. Like, I'm more in touch with my mortgage broker than I am with my title company because I don't deal with that. That's all. And so again, this goes back to when you're a realtor, you need to make sure that they actually know what they're doing, that they've got good connections, that they're really solid with all of that. So that's
Okay,
first thing.
I have a quiz for you.
Oh gosh, bring it.
Just one question. It's
Okay.
not a whole quiz. Okay. Do you
Pass fail.
know?
We got this.
Do you actually know what we actually provide for the transaction?
What the title company does? I know that you guys clear all mechanical liens. I know that you clear all liens against the property and make sure that there's no other like financial burdens against that particular property.
And
So other than that,
anybody else?
Well, I would assume on top of that, you make sure the whole thing is legal.
Yeah.
And make sure that there's actual transaction documents that show that there's a transfer of ownership that actually happens and that it gets filed with the city and with everybody correctly so that you're not out there saying, here's all my money, and then you don't own anything afterwards.
But do you know what it's called?
It's called safety, y'all. Like
Anybody else?
CYA. That's what it's called.
Wait. Okay. So let me be very honest with you, and I'm just going to put it out there because I really don't care. When I was a real estate agent, I didn't know either. There's so many things about title I didn't know, and so now that I do, I'm on this side of it. I can tell you. Does anybody know the answer besides title? We provide title insurance.
Oh. Wait.
That's kind of a trick question.
Wait, I still have no clue what you just said.
Well, and that's actually what's really funny about it is people immediately go to, they take care of all the legal documents or they do this. And that's actually a part of the facilitation. But at the end of the day, we're an insurance company. Just like you go get car insurance, home insurance, anybody policies out there, we issue a title insurance policy to protect that buyer from all those things. So
Yeah, so we're.
I think we got.
Oh, sorry, we had a technical difficulty. But what she's saying is,
I was listening. There was somebody's phone was
actually
on. So
I kept hearing music, and I thought it was time for me to sing.
no,
but
it
I
was,
didn't know.
that could be true, but
But like a lot of people don't know that we provide title insurance.
What does that mean?
Well, it's an insurance policy.
She worked really hard to set that up.
Yeah, she
Exactly.
did.
I'm like, thank you, Laura, for that hand off. It's a policy, just like, and I was explaining, you go get car insurance, right? It's a protection. So if with car insurance, if something, God forbid, happens to you, you have a policy that you can go and place a claim with. That is what title insurance is. It's actually given to the borrower, and it is for the value of their home. So the seller is transferring title over to the buyer, and they get what's called an owner's title policy. And that policy protects them from past history. It's not a go forward basis, right? So a lot of people think with insurance, it's as I move forward. Where title insurance, it protects you from what potentially could have happened. So the seller lying to us about a debt or a lien that they never paid off,
Right.
Property taxes not getting paid. That's what the insurance policy protects them on. So we also issue a policy to the lender, which is a mortgagee's policy. So, yeah.
So I have a question. It's not a trick question. So does the borrower only become your client after the transaction?
That is correct.
Okay.
They, as far as an insurance policy holder,
Right.
it happens upon simultaneously in Texas. It's upon closing and funding. So
Okay.
once you close the transaction and we
Then-
issue
then they
funds,
become your client.
They become a policy holder.
policy
with us.
holder, okay.
And that policy is only good to the time in which they turn around and sell that property. And policies are never transferable, so I can't give you my policy.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to dumb it down real quick because
Thank you.
she's the expert. I'm going to dumb it down real quick. So the way, if we think about it, and when Corey negotiates a deal and they go under contract, which means they have an executed contract between the buyer and seller. So once we have an executed contract, Corey's going to send it to the title company.
Right.
Hopefully it's Upward Title. And then
If you want it to go through, I mean.
And so we've got to execute a contract then between the buyer and the seller. So then it's called opening title, and then title's open. Title is researched. Lenders in there as well. And so basically that's how we open title. That's how the agents bring us the business. And they usually want to bring it to someone, a title company that has great communication and really knows what they're doing, of course. And there's so many laws. Real estate's always changing, right?
Right.
You've got to know all those, and you want to make sure that you always open title and have someone handle it that actually knows 100% all the rules, all the changes, and everything. And so, with that being said, I dumbed it down. I hope I
No, it's
enough.
good.
Okay, great.
I'm actually curious, like right now, what you guys are seeing as far as liens. I mean, how often are you guys having like resolve liens, finding liens?
Hold on, I got this one real quick. Okay, let me tell you. What never goes away is when you bail somebody out of jail and you don't pay it. ABC bonding's gonna be on there. Okay, and I can pull it up and I can see it. And
Great example.
wait,
Oh, I know.
Wait, hold
I'm
on.
never bailing you out of jail, Craig. Ever.
Hold on.
You are staying in there, buddy. Because I am not having to lien on my house. Because I'm not only am I
Right.
not bailing you out, I'm not paying for it either.
right, they
So-
don't want to pay for it because they forgot they bailed somebody
That's
out.
right.
And then they
I
say
believe in consequences. It's fine.
The most common lien, let me just say, so liens, it's interesting. Most people associate a lien with a mortgage, right? I took out a loan, I owe my mortgage.
Right.
Title companies actually search everything. So we're not only searching what's in the real property records, we're actually searching things that are in public records. So like you have a federal tax lien, you have a bankruptcy, you have a child support lien. Hey, by the way, you have an abstracted judgment, or maybe you just, like she was talking about, a bail bondsman. Those are abstracts of judgments. So we look for everything that's against a property. The most common issues that we see is people where they just don't know. right? Most people know about their mortgages, but they didn't realize, oh, I haven't paid my child support lien in 10 years. You mean I actually have to take care of that when I go to sell my property? 100%.
Yeah.
I haven't paid my IRS taxes. Yes, you have to take care of those things, right? Or it could be as simple as I live in a homeowners association and I just don't want to ever bring my trash can in. And so the HOA company goes and places a lien or files a certified letter. And by the way, you have to take care of all those things, right? So it's an encumbrance of anything that you might owe, whether it's to the state, government, or to an individual.
Yeah.
You see.
The good thing is, though, the great thing is, though, you can call Upward Title, and they can help you. Ashley's so good at that. Like, hey, let me show you how we can solve this.
She's good at that. She doesn't want to be on the microphone. Kind of hurt my feelings.
we're gonna
but-
get
Ashley's
one
over
night.
here.
But Laura is correct. I mean, at the end of the day, the reason why most people don't know about what we do is because we take care of everything.
Thank you, Kevin.
And you want to work with somebody that understands the process and it makes it easy for you, right?
Right.
So if we're telling you this is what we need to do, we're problem solvers. We're figuring all those things out. We're not expecting you to go take care of it.
Well, and look, y'all want this deal to go through as badly as anybody wants a deal to go
1000%.
through. So that's the other thing that I think we have to always remember in this process is everybody at the table is for you. Everybody at the table is for you. So, nobody gets paid here unless you make a transaction, so everybody wants this to happen for you.
Absolutely. And make sure that you always interview everyone. I mean, interview your real estate agent, interview your lender, and make sure they're surrounded by a really good network of people because they're the ones that are going to be able to refer you on like right then. Hey, I need this. Hey, I need a roofer. Hey, I need this. Oh, I've got it. Always make sure that you're with a realtor or a title company lender that's got all those things that they can give you right away because I think that's really important.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on that, Miss Title Queen. So when we deal with the roofers and the contractors and the flooring people and all of that, when we're putting the mortgage together or we're selling the home, we do a lot of pay at close.
Yeah.
So that way we can get top market value to the seller. We just closed on one in March.
Can you explain that?
Sure. No, I was going to. Thank you. Yeah, I'm right on top of it.
He was loading the gun.
So,
It's fine.
Yeah. So we just closed on one in March, Laura, and it took.
I'm here, Corey. I'm
Here
here
you
for
go.
it.
So it took about 3 months to get the property up to value. We ran appraisement as far as like looking at comps, things of that nature, assessment, right? And we figured it'd come in at about 500,000. It was roughly 2 acres, generational property, 2 houses, shop, super nice, zoned light commercial. So you could run a business out of it if you chose to. Well, he wanted 7 or 698. And I was like, okay, this is what we got to do. So we went in and we spent $60,000 with the contractors, $48,000 on remodels, $8,000 for flooring. We did some carpet cleaning. We painted. We did it all. Did some landscaping, raised the tree levels, all that stuff. So all in all, we had about $60K tied up in the remodel of this place. We closed on it at $730,000, and it was all pay at close. So
See,
when we're
that's
working with the
brilliant.
contractors, we take those invoices, those receipts, and when we open title, when somebody puts a contract on it, send them over to you.
But you've got to have a good agent that knows how to do that because they're out there that
It's a
don't know
specialty
that,
trait.
Corey.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a big bonus when it comes to selling your home.
Well, this agent here
I know.
spent 35 years in the HVAC contracting world, and I learned how to do all of it. And not only that, I owned and ran my own lawn and landscaping business for 7.5 years and turned around and sold it for $500,000 when I was 27. So I've been around the landscaping side of it. I've been around the construction, the HVAC, all of that. So I partner with people we know, like, and trust, and people that will help us get to the fair market value for the seller. And we negotiate what those terms are. We look at those and we send the receipts over and invoices to you. And then when we sell it, the equity is mostly tied up in the home and it's not breaking the bank to try to get it to fair market value.
That's
So,
awesome. Like, I love that. There's so many people that don't know that you can do that. So that's such good information for sellers because if they don't want to come out of pocket right then, say they've got something else Like that's such a good thing to offer them.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's a value that we add to our customers and
awesome.
something that a lot of people don't think about doing, especially a pay at
Right.
close.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my God, I got to put a new roof on. I'm like, don't worry. We got a roofer. We got the equity. We'll just take it out of the sale of the home. And that way insurance can write a policy and it's not 20 years old because that's, you mentioned that earlier. I think both of y'all did that. You know, when we get over the 10-year mark, it's extremely hard to sell a home with because it takes some beating out in the sun. We're in Texas, right? So 10 years and older, we start getting into some gray areas where insurance is either going to be really high or it's not going to be available. And then if you've got a lender and a loan you're dealing with, then we got issues because then you can't get a loan. You got to have insurance to be able to get financed. So then we got an issue there. So if we can get the roof changed out, your insurance is cheaper, everybody's happy, and we on going down the road.
Well, I think one of the things Kevin and I have been harping on for months now is people need to educate themselves on their insurance policy for
Absolutely.
because one of the things that we know that's coming down the pipeline is that roofs are going away.
Oh yeah,
as part of like a blanket
coverage.
And so I think guys like you are going to become some of roofers' best friends because roofers are going to have to pivot how they're even doing.
They
got
to figure it out.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because like insurance companies are not going to be their best clients anymore. You know, because one, a lot of people aren't going to realize that that's gone. They're not paying attention to their policies. I mean, we had.
So are you saying you should get your roof done right now?
You should absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
If you can.
Right?
they're denying them like crazy.
They are.
And for good reason. I mean, like they're losing their butts on them. And look, insurance companies are in the business of making money just like everybody else.
Oh yeah. They're
and-
for profit.
What are they going to be insuring at that point?
Right?
I mean,
That's the. Well, you
Fire
you
and
can get
flood.
us started on that because, but I think that
And flood skeptical.
there's just so many of those nuances that you have to be aware of, and so that actually perfectly leads me into this. So I'm going to ask one question. I want all you all to answer this question. Because I think we'll start with you, Corey. So we're starting with you. So it's an easy question because y'all are professionals and y'all know how to answer this question. If I'm a buyer and I heard on the Homeowner Show that you need to interview your people, you need to know what you're getting into. What questions should I ask? So you're a realtor. How do I know what's a good realtor from a bad realtor? How do I ask good questions to get the answer of I should hire this realtor over this realtor? I'm going to ask you for mortgage. I'm going to ask you for title.
What's your average price point that you sell?
Okay.
How many transactions have you done
Like in general?
in general?
Okay, all of them.
per year.
Okay, per year. Okay.
Per year, right? What's your sales volume is what you're
Yeah.
essentially asking.
Right.
If you go out to $1 million listing and you specialize in $350,000 buyers and you're looking at a listing appointment, you're probably not the right agent to list that property because you don't know anything about a luxury market. Even though you could probably wing it, you might not do the best value for your client.
Sure.
So
So I also have another question. If I was, are you going to answer your phone when I call you? Because a transaction, real estate, is very emotional for the buyer, for the seller.
you see the bags under my eyes?
Yeah.
We don't
Are
sleep.
you going to be available when I call you at 7, 8 o'clock at night?
No, that's early.
I know.
Yeah. Try 10:30 or 11.
Revved up.
Yeah. Try a little later than that. Now, that usually follows through on weekends as well for me. So here lately, we've been holding 4 open houses a weekend, and I've been doing all of those myself. And that's another thing. How many open houses? How do you showcase my home? What kind of videos are you doing? What kind of Twilight videos are you doing? What kind of video package are you doing? Matterport. What are you doing? Are you doing leads generation, like generating Facebook, targeting, YouTube channels, marketing, reverse prospecting? We do all of that.
Okay.
So when you are looking for a realtor, how many avenues do you have to connect to people? How are you showcasing my home? What does your sphere of influence look like in your pool of buyers that you're going to be able to get my home sold? So if you're a buyer looking for an agent, how good are your negotiating skills? What's your price point? How long have you been at it? What's your background? Do you have a sales background? because you're looking for somebody. You don't want to go hire an engineer when you're trying to negotiate a price point,
Right.
right? So those are things I would look for personally if I was going to go hire a realtor and I was looking for somebody that was on top of their A game. I'd want somebody that hits my target market and has the negotiating skills to get me there.
Right. I love it. Good. So, James, you're next, man.
So for me, I think the first thing would be pre-qualified versus pre-approved, because it is not the same thing.
Okay.
So a lot of people will go online, get pre-qualified. Okay. The difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval. People get pre-qualified all the time and don't get loans because it's not the same thing. So people get pre-qualified.
I got an email the other day said I was pre-qualified.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, but that was for me.
Everybody's
I'm
pre-qualified.
always pre-qualified for a car through Chase.
So the main difference really is it's documentation and actual going to an underwriter. Okay, pre-qualification, you're not going to an underwriter. They're just giving you some information. They give you a piece of paper and say, hey, you're pre-qualified for $500,000. When I get documentation and actually run it through my underwriting, it might be something different. So especially if you're doing an online situation, which I highly discourage people from doing this, but they're going to do what they're going to do.
I'm not going to say it.
Listen, I tell people all the time, even if they don't use me, find somebody local.
Yeah.
Because Texas is different. We're different. Like if you don't know anybody, if they're out of state, it drives me nuts. If you're not gonna use me, just get somebody in Texas.
Right.
The microphone. Hey, right here, seriously, everybody. You want somebody local because you want your realtor to be able to go to their office and sit down and have a conversation. If things get sketchy and we find ourselves in a gray area, I want to know who we're talking to and who's underwriting the loan. And I can go see them in my target market, and it's not somebody in Washington State.
Yeah, because Capital One, they'll just do. They got great rates. I heard.
They do.
Let me also tell you,
That's entrapment.
Yeah, I know.
I love our local lenders. I will say that they treat our escrow officers so well, and sometimes they're not treated that way.
Well, I mean, when you have someone sitting in a cubicle working for Sprocket, I'm not going to say any company names, but sorry,
ABC Mortgage.
it's not the best experience. And I'm serious with people, like especially first time buyers. Like they need somebody that will literally answer the phone. Like I answer my phone. It doesn't matter. Weekends, nights, I will respond to people. You're not going to get that if you're dealing with somebody sitting in the cubicle with somebody. It's a different experience. So that would be the first thing. Make sure you're pre-approved, not pre-qualified, because it is not the same thing.
What's the difference? Did you say that already?
I did. I mean, the biggest difference is, like I said, is documentation, number one. You actually make what I verify that you actually make.
That's the word I was looking
James,
for.
James,
Yeah.
how long?
Trying to get you to say it.
Yeah.
Now that we're on that, and we're talking to a first-time home buyer.
Mm-hmm.
How long is your pre-approval good for?
4 months typically.
4 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I don't necessarily have to repull credit. I like to say 3 because once we get to the 4-month mark, then I have to typically I have to repull.
And
your
is it
credit report.
okay to get 2 pre-approvals from 2 different lenders? Is that going to affect your credit?
If it's within about 30 days, no.
Okay.
The bureaus are smart enough, I use that word loosely, to let people look around for a mortgage, right?
Okay.
So they're not going to penalize you if you come to me and then you go to another lender. Now, you don't want to be going to 5, 6. I don't think that's necessary, but you're not going to get penalized. They won't penalize you. So people do it. It's fine. It is what it is. But yeah, the bureaus are small enough to understand people are going to shop for a mortgage. So they're not just going to go with the first person. Although some people do. It's okay.
Yeah.
Especially if it's me. You don't have to shop. I'm joking. But the other thing would be points. So a lot of lenders will send these estimates to people, and they make it look real pretty. Okay. And they never tell the buyer, hey, this rate, you're going to pay for this. They just stick it in there.
What are points, James?
I'm about to get the great question. So I hate mortgage talk when I'm not talking to mortgage people. So points is just nothing but a percentage. So, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just you need to be aware that this estimate you're getting and that rate looks, because all people focus on is the interest rates. Most people, they're just looking at the interest rate.
Or the monthly.
James, do points cost money?
They do. They are not free. Okay. So again, there's nothing wrong with points. You just need to be aware that it's in there. And a lot of times people don't know. They just get these estimates from people and they'll send it to me and saying, hey, well, this lender's giving me this rate. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. They're charging you 2 point. And a point is a percentage of the loan amount. Okay. Not the sale price, the loan amount. Everything's based on loan amount for lenders. So it's not the sale price. So, but they don't know. The buyer doesn't know. All they're doing is looking at what that rate says.
Yeah.
And so I have to break it down and say, well, we're not comparing apples to apples. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
So you want to know, and again, there's nothing wrong with paying points. There's nothing wrong with it, but you just want to know, okay, this rate this lender's giving me, are there points involved? Because if you're not used to looking at this statement, you don't know. I look at them all the time, but most people have idea.
You need someone that will explain it to you, dumb it down,
100%.
right?
I mean, is this similar? I don't understand most of this kind of stuff. My wife handles all this. Are the points? Are you saying like they're adding more to the loan in order to cover the cost of the points?
It does.
Or is it like cash in hand?
Not the loan necessarily. Usually, it's part of their closing costs.
Okay.
So, but again, the buyers don't know it. Yeah. Right.
To me, it's like the same way when people are like, "Oh, I'm paying 0% interest." Like you're paying 0%, but you're paying a premium for the product so that your payments are bigger for the thing that you're buying. You're paying 0%, but they already got their money.
Right. Cars are a little bit different. Go ahead, Corey.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I want to chime in on this, right? Because we work hand in hand together. And if I'm representing a buyer, the buyer's a little tied in cash and we're looking at houses, I will go look for a house. And if that house is listed for $420,000, let's take for instance, right? And we know that the house is priced a little under market. We think we can get $425. Now I'm on the buy side. I'm looking at what it's listed for. I run the comps. Believe it or not, we look at comps on the buy side because we want to see if the listing is actually priced to market.
Okay.
Okay. And it's not just overinflated. So we look at what it could go for, how long it's been on the market. We pull comps just like if we were going to do a listing, we pull comps to represent our buyer. That being said, we might go in and offer $5,000 over list price, but ask for $10,000 back in seller's concessions, which we use to buy points down.
Okay.
So we let the seller buy the points down for us, but we might compensate them a little in doing so. So it's a win-win on both sides.
Okay.
So we get really creative on our side.
Yeah.
So
Great.
anyway, I just wanted to add that.
So, but I can't sell you points.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair.
Hey, Excalibur.
I can
I've
buy
got a
them from
question
you.
for you in a minute. Hey, Excalibur, I've got a question for you in a minute.
Okay, come on.
Can I ask?
Are you?
Are you done?
I mean, those are some
Before
of the
we
main things.
finish.
And the other thing is, same thing for me is
You didn't
it's
answer my
availability.
question. That's fine.
So points, pre-approval.
I'm picking like.
But and the same thing, like availability. I think that's a huge thing for people to be available, especially when you're talking first-time home buyers. Like they have questions, and I tell people all the time: as soon as you start looking for a home, you got advice from everybody. Everybody's got advice.
Hey,
Everybody's
but you
got
should go
advice.
to your local industry experts, whether it's anyone that can refer you to someone that knows the answer.
True. But I tell people, listen, I literally, this is my conversation with people. Listen, as soon as you start this process, everybody's got advice for you.
Yeah.
So people that bought a house in 2009 that got a 3% interest rate, they're going to tell you what they did.
They got all kinds
and
of
I'm like,
wisdom.
listen, this is a different market.
Yeah.
2 years ago was different. So I always explain that. So availability, I tell people, listen, I'm available. I'm available on the weekends. Corey calls me on the weekend. He just 2 days ago, and I answered, and I was 5 minutes too late. Anyway, that's another story. But again, local people are it's a better process. And I swear, I tell people, even if you don't use me, just find somebody that's
But
local.
you're buying local. Like that's a dumb thing. Like everybody's buying local. You're not buying. I mean, unless you got money and you're buying, somewhere else, you're mostly buying local. So why wouldn't you want to be able to walk into someone's office?
Absolutely.
That just makes sense.
Well, don't you think you get better service when you pay someone $100 versus a lot more? No, like you're buying your service.
No, I actually tell
and people
people
want discount real estate,
Sure.
and it doesn't do you any good.
No, I tell
Discount
people,
real estate with the most valuable asset you will ever have in your life. And I want discount That's, you know what? I'll go buy discount toilet paper.
That's like buying toilet paper.
I'm not right. I'm not looking for discount sell right real estate. Right.
TPPT. Let's talk about TPPT.
But here's the truth. Like I'll tell people all the time, you can have things good, cheap, or fast, and you can only have two of those things.
100%,
Right?
yeah.
If you want something good and cheap, it's not going to be fast. Yeah. If you want something fast and good, it's not going to be cheap, right? And the truth also is true. Most of the time, if you're looking for something to be done well and make sure that you're getting like the best customer service, find someone small.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just true. I know for a fact that I'm going to pay more for Excalibur's whatever they do to my house than I am going to pay for Orkin to come do it. But I'm going to get a much better product. If I have a problem, Craig's just going to come back. He's just going to fix it. And it's not going to be somebody else. It's going to be Craig. Yep. Craig's going to show up, and he owns the company. And so I just know that I'm going to get better service.
And he's going to personally wrestle that raccoon
he will.
out of your attic.
I know he
all
will.
by himself.
With glee.
Yeah, but I just
That's something you want to see.
Do we have a time limit on it?
well, there's a video
won't be cheap.
somewhere. There's again, it's not gonna be cheap. Fast and good maybe, but it ain't gonna be cheap. You know, I just think that's the thing we have to all recognize is these big companies don't care about you.
No.
The local companies, they do care about you for two reasons. Number one, you're not just a number. But number two, the other reason that it's important is they need your referral. Like they want you, they want you to speak well of them in your community.
Yep.
It makes a difference to them.
Yep, Sprocket doesn't care about you.
Right.
Stop picking on Sprockets. You better stop picking on Sprockets.
Sprockets mortgage.
As we talk about creating these great relationships that are local, when I was an agent, I never had a title company. Don't get mad at me. I mean, I was loyal to my title company, but I never had someone come and say it like, "Hey, I want to help you build your business. I want to help you market yourself better. Hey, have you met my escrow officer? She's amazing. Hey, let me introduce you to the Texas Regional Director if you ever have any questions." And we're always available. I never had that. And so what we want to create with our company is something local, something that agents depend on, and they know that our customer service is beyond a doubt, like incredible. Like they know our escrow officers are available, and that's what you need as an agent, because as an agent, you're not only dealing with emotional transactions, you're dealing with a lot of mad people sometimes because it is so emotional. And what we deal with on our side, and I know our escrow officer, it's high stress.
Yeah.
But you also need to be able to provide that value to your clients. And I'm talking to agents, to real estate agents. If you've never had that, always, reach out to us, reach out to Corey, reach out to James, and they'll tell you what we do for our agents. And I speak from that because I was an agent and I know how hard that job is. And I know how huge it is to have a company and market experts to help you in this industry and to rely on is huge. And I was never given that opportunity. And that is something that we want to give to our customers. That's all I have.
I love it, Laura.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
There you go. I just want to echo what she's saying, because at the end of the day, being in the business as long as I had, everybody has different expectations. Everybody has different needs. And we talk about, when we're asked that question, why should they choose you? Why should they choose that person? It's really up to us as professionals and people in the local areas to uncover their needs. I can't assume that your needs are going to be the same as yours, right?
Sure.
So taking time and a vested interest and understanding those things is going to make you a better servant to them, right? So if you take time in the beginning and maybe ask those important questions. I always find when somebody says, "Why should I choose you?" Well, tell me what's important to you. What are you looking for? Do you even know what I do? Do you know the steps in the process? Where can I guide you the most, right? Because you could deal with someone that's like, "Hey, I do this every day of the week. Just put papers in front of me and sign." And then you could have that other person that's like, "Never done this before. I'm scared. What do I need to understand?" And you really got to have those people that can be a chameleon, into all different ways to helping people. And
Yeah,
so I think it's
my
so
guess
important.
is that most people, if you ask that question to most people, they're going to go, I don't know what I don't know, especially with title. With mortgage, maybe, definitely with realtor, maybe a little bit more because their sister did it once in COVID. But the title people, they're the ones that people know the least about. So,
Absolutely.
so
I
really
didn't know
good
anything about
questions.
it.
Yeah,
Well, and I think, and a lot of from a title company's perspective, our clients typically are real estate agents, lenders, investors, and builders. However, we spoke about it earlier, our client is actually the buyer, right? They're the ones that are receiving the insurance policy on the transaction.
Paying for it.
And it's
Most
negotiated,
of the
right?
time, right.
most
Negotiable.
it is negotiable, but they actually are the ones that have the choice if you look at it, because it's their policy. So we don't normally get a chance to talk to them up front. So where our education comes in is working with our clients, the agents, the lenders, and making sure we understand their needs, because we're expecting them to communicate with their clients.
Again, and that so what I'm hearing is, we'll have a conversation with you. We can answer whatever you need us to answer, but please find a good realtor. Who
Call
has
your
good-
agent.
Call your agent, call your lender.
Make sure, and honestly, like that is, in my opinion, Corey, your conversation is the most important. If you know, if the Corey Reeves, your agent knows what he should know or she should know, then they're going to know the best person to help with your mortgage. Your mortgage may look different than someone else's mortgage. So they should know what's going to be best for your mortgage or for selling your house, whatever the case is. And the same thing for title. They're going to understand those nuances. And, I guess that's a really great question, is how networked are you? Like, what does that look like? And I know that's probably a double-edged sword.
I'm
on some
not
level,
sure
but-
if networked is the right answer. I think educated, because I've got to know enough people and trust enough people and rely on enough people that when somebody asks me a question, I know exactly where to go to find that answer.
Sure.
Right. So if somebody calls me to ask me to sell their house, or a buyer wants to buy, I work with a trusted title company, okay? Because you know why? They communicate. It's all about communication. Lender, there's a lot of lenders out there. Everybody knows a realtor. We answer our phone, we communicate, and we're educated. Educated is number one on the top of my list on anything that I'm looking for. How well educated are you on the products that you sell and represent, right? Because realtors have to know a little bit of everything. We might not be masters on all of it, but I guarantee you I'll know a little bit about everything, because I wouldn't be good at my job if I didn't.
Sure.
Right? Because I need to know the questions to ask title. I need to know the questions to ask the lender. I need to know how to navigate those seller's concessions and what the points mean and how much that's going to cost. And can I get a down payment assistance program because I got $4,000 in the bank, but I want a $250,000 house, and I'll know that it's only going to cost you $2,500 to get in it. Because we can negotiate it, right? And earnest money is always negotiable. Most people don't think it is.
Yeah.
It is. Most people think it's a standard 1%. Nope, it's negotiable. So you can come in with half. You're not liquid, but you're good. You got money on the other end. You're on a contingency. Okay, here's all my proof. My lender gave my sellers or my buyer, here's the proof of funds. We're good. We just don't have a ton of money, but we're going to close in 30 days. Can you work with us? Those are all conversations that you have, and you go through title and make sure there's no liens or there's no tax, any problems on the other side.
And
so it's very important to answer your question.
Always ask questions. Ask questions. Ask your agent questions. Ask your lender questions. There's no stupid question. Ask title question. Usually your realtor does that for you. But if you're a buyer or seller closing with us, ask questions. A lot of people are scared to ask questions.
100%. Yeah.
Please ask questions. We are here to answer them. Corey is. James is here to answer. Anna, Ashley. Like, there is no stupid question to ask. And I didn't know that when I started out as an agent. But as a buyer, seller, anyone, ask questions.
Yeah. I think questions is every home buyer's best arsenal. Because most people, I think, to your point, are afraid to look stupid, or uninformed. And it's like, look, you might do this like maybe 3 times in
I
your
was
life.
just about to. That was
Like,
just exactly what I was about to
how
say. Like,
could
we do this all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we understand the craziness that's involved, and we try to minimize that. All of us try to minimize it as much as possible.
We make it easy. We make it.
Well, we
we're
do.
like ducks. Right?
Yeah.
So we're floating along the water, and everything's calm.
What are you saying?
Right.
What are you saying? I can't hear you.
Ducks. Ducks. Ducks.
There's no context.
But that's a great analogy because you just see the duck crack smoothly like this,
Yeah, and you're
and
like-
underneath he's like struggling.
Right.
Hot mess.
So all the behind the scenes stuff, like for me, the stuff that happens behind the scenes is incredible.
Can we talk about clear to close?
Oh my gosh,
Please.
What did she say?
clear to close.
I would like for you to tell everyone about clear to close. Ashley would like everyone
What does
for you to
everybody in
tell
our
her.
industry call it? What's the abbreviation?
CT.
But what happens?
Well, first of all, that's not the best word in the industry. Funded is the best word.
Okay.
And what does that mean?
It is not CTC.
But what happens? What still
so
has to happen?
CTC is clear to close, which does not mean it's all good. Let's be very clear.
Lenders, stop telling your clients.
I don't do
We're
that.
ready to close ASAP.
Well, I mean, CTC is the big step. It's a big step. Don't get me wrong. But then there's still stuff. Yeah, there's still stuff that can happen, unfortunately. Like,
don't buy a car.
Right,
Don't
yeah.
buy a washing machine.
Stuff
don't
happens.
buy a couch to match the architectural for your bedroom.
100%. Yeah. So CTC is great. That pretty much means underwriter's pretty much done with the loan, and hey, we're gonna do paperwork and get your stuff to title.
And title still has to balance,
Yes.
right?
And then
So-
stuff can happen after that. But until we hear funded, all of us, no one's feeling good about anything.
That's right.
CTC is nice. Funded's better.
Funded is the best.
Funded is the best because that means we're done. Everything's
Well,
done.
that means
So
money's in the bank.
Yes,
Transferred.
it's in the
bank.
Yeah.
that is the word.
yeah.
Yes.
It's not CTC's
A
cool,
lot,
but it's
a lot goes on like that,
does.
and no one sees.
That's
Like
the
it
behind
could
the scenes
be
stuff.
the day
Yes.
of the closing.
So
Like,
100%.
who actually makes that call?
What's that?
Funded.
Title.
Title.
Well, title
it's
and
a
our
combination,
funder. Yeah.
yeah.
Lender and title.
So the
Is it like
lender
multiple
is going,
pins being
yeah, so
pulled?
basically
Okay.
you get everybody signed and then we send everything to the lender for them to review.
Right.
And then the money portion has to still transpire. So we have to make sure we get the buyer's funds in. If the seller had to bring us money, the lender's money.
to worry about fraudsters.
And then we have to make sure all that money is in there. So once the lender says, "Hey, everything's good to go on our end,
Right.
you're authorized to disperse," we then say, "Okay, now we've gotten all those funds, and we are now officially funded. Everybody's
Okay.
signed, all the money's there. We've cleared all the money, and we're good
They
to go."
paid all of the contractors.
Yeah, we paid all the debts off. Well, we're in the process.
And the mortgage company has a funder, by the way. It
Yes.
is not me as a loan officer. I do not make that call.
Well, and that's what
There's
other
a
people think is
funder.
they're like, "Hey, what are you just waiting on?" It's like it's not just it is a process, but there are
Yeah.
multiple people
For
that
sure.
are involved in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can
So-
take some time, after you sign.
I mean,
It's usually
what
pretty
should
quick.
people generally expect, and time wise, on average? I'm not saying
from
like
a contract negotiation to close?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
30 days.
30. Okay,
days. Yeah.
cool.
Long one's 45.
Really? Okay. What's holding it up? I mean, is it all the stuff we've already talked about?
So the 30 to 45 days is usually negotiated on the contract before it reaches everybody else. And we do that for multiple reasons. If there's a contingency where they're trying to sell a house or buy a house while they're trying to sell their house, then there might be some time gap there.
Okay.
Instead of doing a lease back, we might extend the closing. Or they're moving in from out of state and they're like, "Hey, we want to buy it, but we don't want to close until the middle." Like say it's 1st of April, they want to close in the middle of May, right? That gives them enough time
And
to move.
usually,
Right.
from a title company's perspective, we know within 5 to 7 days, we issue what's called a commitment of insurance. And on that, that's going to tell us the requirements of things we have to do. Just like a lender gets a list of requirements to get the clear to close.
Right.
So we know pretty quickly up front if we're going to have a title issue.
Okay.
And that could ultimately delay a closing, right? So if we have a seller that has had issues or things going on, yeah, or
panels.
somebody's passed
panels.
away, or I mean, there's a multitude of title related issues. We know pretty quickly up front those issues, and then we communicate, "Hey, by the way, this is going to take us a little while to get
Right.
this resolved," or whatever the case may be.
And we actually have a really cool tool called Title Toolbox that we provide to our agents that helps them run a property profile report before they go on a listing appointment or they go to show a buyer. And it will pull up anything filed public that's been filed, of deed, anything. You could pull up the actual, like ABC bonding. You build somebody, it's going to show it on there. So
Okay.
that helps the agent, they prepare for their listing appointment.
I gotcha.
It helps prepare them when they're showing homes. It also helps in a big way if they say, hey, I've got a red flag on this property and I'm about to list it. Hey, could you guys help us out? Like, it's always good to prepare for your clients in that way. And so we have something really cool that helps you do that. You can pull it up with the address.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Real quick, because I forgot to ask a clarifying question earlier when you guys were explaining title insurance. I would imagine that the insurance of it is if there's something that shows up on the title that you guys didn't unearth initially.
That is correct.
How does that insurance then come? Does it actually pay off that lien? Or
Well, it just
does
depends
it
on the
resolve
situation.
it? I mean, like, is it like, okay, there's multiple.
There's multiple ways. So the first thing is title insurance only comes into play when you have a loss.
Okay.
So if, for example, there was a mislien, like somebody neglected to tell us something that they owed, because a lot of times we rely heavily on affidavits.
Sure.
And people telling us the truth. And by the way, that's the number one thing. People don't tell us the truth. And sometimes it's not that they don't want to tell us the truth. They just don't know that they were supposed to tell us that information. That's the better yet, right?
A lie of
like,
omission.
hey, by the way,
right.
I'm selling my mom's property and it's mine, but I neglected to tell you I have 2 other siblings,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden those siblings come up. Yes.
Forget they're married.
Or they forget they're married. Or does it being married in another country actually constitute being married? By the way, we don't look for marriage license. If you tell us you're married, you're married. Common law, people that live properties, right? So there's a lot of things that we protect against.
Okay.
So it's not until you incur a loss, meaning somebody that claims they have ownership, somebody comes back and says I owed a debt,
Right.
something of that. And then once that happens, then they go and file a claim on their policy, and then we work to resolve that claim.
Okay. That's sorry.
Great question. Because a lot of
Clarification.
people they don't know.
They don't.
I got
Yes.
insurance, but I don't know what for.
Yeah, they have
Yeah. Or when do I need to use it? Or how do I go about using it? Right.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing if you think of any insurance, right? If you have a loss for something, you have a policy that protects you.
Right.
For most of it. There's
Okay.
a lot of things we don't protect.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Well,
just,
I mean, I
but
think-
you can get endorsement. So that's a lot of people don't even know. Like when you go get car insurance, you want a policy or an endorsement for like rental car. We offer lots of other endorsements. So there's parts of the contract about survey coverage or Marion boundary coverage.
Yeah. I mean, even in that vein, I mean, like if you have a good insurance person around you, they're going to tell you that, like with the car rental thing. Like my insurance guy, whenever I travel, he's like, "Dude, don't get the extra policy. You're
Right.
already covered through
Exactly.
me." And it's other things like Ryan's awesome. Like he takes care of me in so many ways. Like he reached out to me and was like, "Dude, do you know that you can get like a jewelry policy on your Apple Watch?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No." And he's like, "It's like $5 a month." And I was like, "Heck yeah!"
Exactly.
Like, I'd tear these things up.
Exactly.
I need to do
Again,
that.
we
Do
talked
that
about
tomorrow.
we talked about these are people's biggest investments that they ever make in their life. Why would you not want to have protection
Right.
against it, right? So that way you don't worry about things that happen later on down
Yeah.
the road, and if you have to take care of it. So
Ryan Aduddle is his name.
I know him.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if that was the Ryan. Yeah, I know him.
So
Great guy.
I've known Ryan since
No.
6.
Do you know? Is he also in the Nats? One of the chapters?
No, I keep trying to bring him over.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
he's trying to expand up because he's based out of the south side of Champion Forest, and he's moving up into the Woodlands right now. And there's other things going on right now, and I'm like, dude, just come on over.
He just needs a good real estate agent.
Oh, that's
Ryan, we're talking about you. You better be watching.
Oh, he watches. He watches. If he's watching, he'll chime in.
Oh, there he is.
Well, I'll just say this: like, I think we've covered a lot of ground tonight.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
and definitely
Can
we've
I
covered
ask
a lot
one
of ground.
question to Excalibur? Excalibur, I need a question.
Okay, fire away.
What's up with these caterpillars. What are they? All over my house, outside. I'm gonna need you to come
Take this
over.
offline, Laura.
I've also got
Personal
big
question.
spiders in my pool. Like, bring it on
So
over.
the spiders, yes. So the caterpillar centipede thing. Those, okay, I'm
They're
gonna.
falling out
Yes.
of my air vents onto my head when I'm working at my office, and I'm having two of them.
Well,
and it disgusts
You
me.
got an issue.
the office is a different issue. I mean, like that one we need to take a look at.
If they're coming out of the air ducts, that means you got a hole in your air duct.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's
So
Okay.
it's an air vent.
the same
You're
thing.
right. Right. The air
Same
vents
thing.
are sealed.
No, the opening.
I
But
think they are
they
coming
come-
from everywhere.
Okay, so
She has them too.
Well,
they're like,
most likely. Well, Corey
live
can
in the country.
Corey can speak to this, but like
Yeah.
if you're talking about like a traditional
I don't like
duct, a lot
nature.
of times they're not sealed well where the duct actually connects to the ceiling, and they're coming out around them,
That-
not
what-
through them.
right, what they're doing is they're somehow crawling on your ceiling and getting in between. And this is very
Corey,
hard.
I'm not
because
okay with that. I'm gonna tell you right
well,
now.
Okay, I'm going to get into. Listen, you've got a boot and a can and a grill. All of those come together and get mastic sealed for your HVAC. Yeah.
so it's in there?
No,
That's
most
well,
likely
it's not supposed to be, and if it is, you've got a hole in your ductwork somewhere,
Which is bad.
Which is bad, which means you're leaking energy out into
I think
the
they're
attic.
just coming in from every place
So,
they can
look,
possibly find
All right.
a hole in the house.
Let me tell you what's going on.
Then
with
you
these
got a
guys.
Because
gap.
they are everywhere.
So one, they're a seasonal bug. They'll only be around for like 2 weeks at best.
Okay, good.
Okay, so that's one.
Because I'm about to burn the place down.
Two, the way that they typically get in is most people don't address the weather stripping around their doors. You know, and so like if you're like on your home, and this is just a good tip for everybody, on the bottom of your doors, you know, if you want to see if they're in good shape, you need to feel like 4 layers of rubber on the bottom of your doors. If not, you're having energy escape.
Oh, yeah.
But you're also having access for bugs to get through. And on top of that, the best weapon that you have against them is your HVAC system, because your HVAC system is designed to remove moisture from the air, and these bugs thrive on moisture, have to have it. That's why they're connected to the soil, is to have that moisture. When they come in your house, that HVAC system is removing all the moisture out of there, which is why you find them like all shriveled up.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're all shriveled up.
So like I'll go out for calls on them, but like most of the time I'm like, hey guys, this is going to resolve itself.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the wolf spiders?
Wolf spiders, I mean, you just got to treat the lawn.
Oh man, they're
You say,
wonderful.
do you do that?
They're
do you do
awesome.
that?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I want it treated for everything.
No, but they're awesome.
big.
I mean, I told my neighbors, I was like, I'm gonna give the whole neighborhood
nice.
cancer
They
because
don't
I'm gonna light this thing up. Anyway,
No, but those wolf spiders. You know what those wolf spiders eat?
They eat
What?
mosquitoes.
They eat mosquitoes.
But-
They
okay.
eat
Wolf
the other
spiders are
stuff you
great
don't
spiders.
want.
let me tell you what's not fun.
Okay.
When you're sitting,
They
and
are.
I know this
They eat bad
sounds
stuff.
like an awful problem, and this is so stupid for me to say, but when you're sitting in your hot tub and one of those big things roll up on your shoulder
You don't like that?
and you don't know it's there,
Oh, she doesn't like that.
and then your friend's like, "Hey, girl,
You got a wolf,
hey, girl,"
You got a wolf on your shoulder?
I'm talking like this big.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with it.
That could be the one to give
Then
you
you
powers,
shouldn't
though.
have moved to the country.
Thank you, Corey. I was just about to say
You
the
live
same
on
thing.
an estate property in the country.
I don't know. This might be news for you, but I grew up down 2 gravel roads in the middle of nowhere, and it traumatized me.
And now you're scared
I have
shitless
seen the
of
biggest
everything.
things you've ever seen in your life, and I tried to block it out. But wait,
I know we've
But what I
derailed.
don't-
I know that's for sure.
And we're going to bring it back.
I'm more afraid of the
Take
gravel.
us home.
The gravel.
The gravel.
hey, my mom, when we would see snakes going out there, just growing up, this is a memory. You know, you'd be going down the gravel road, and she'd stop, back it up, drive it forward, back it up. She's like, "Snake."
And she never did kill it because that snake moves.
Yeah.
Well, look, I really, Corey, I really do. We've covered a lot of ground tonight,
We have.
and it, you know, one of the things I like about getting all of y'all in the room at the same time is there was really no stone unturned, and I think that the thing that, if nothing else, whoever's listening to this tonight, other than they're like they should, go to bed, that they've learned, if they haven't, boil it down to this: make sure you do your part to educate yourself, become smarter, and learn. Ask really good questions. And to your point, I agree. There's no stupid questions, but there are stupid people that don't ask them. So I'm going to put that out there. Don't be a stupid person. Ask lots of questions. and educate yourself. And the most important person that you need to ask really good questions to and make sure that you hire the right person is your realtor. And that realtor will help you if you hire the right person, find the best mortgage lender, find the best title company, and ultimately either sell your house for top dollar or buy your house for the lowest dollar. And those are really what everybody wants. And so on top of that, just make sure that whenever you're asking people questions, that you're not just asking random Joe. Ask the right people questions. And if you don't know what those questions are, you can email us. We will point you to the right people, info@homeownershow.com. You can listen to some other, we got lots of episodes that talk about all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. So, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I mean, we're going to put, all y'all's information in the show notes. So it's going to be down below. Y'all can find it there, contact them. Even if you're not local, they'll answer your questions.
We do referrals as well throughout the United States. We've got referral partners through Corcoran Genesis, where we refer out and we work with different agents in different areas. We're working with one in Tyler right now on a relocation. Right. So we deal with California, Vegas, and New York and Florida pretty regularly.
Right.
So
Upward Title is also there.
Yes. Upward Title is also there.
And that's not shocking because
and CMG.
And CMG Home Loans.
There you go.
I can refer you.
Everywhere.
But see,
We can get you.
that goes back to what I was saying
I'm just
earlier.
going to say we're bad and we're nationwide.
That goes back to what I was saying about being networked. I mean, it is important to know people, and
1,000%.
and it's okay not to know people. Just get to know them. You know,
to know
and
people that are smarter
Well,
than you.
here's the
Making
deal.
sure
I
they
want to
know.
touch on that one subject real quick because most first-time homeowners don't know the questions to ask. Like first-time buyers, not homeowners. First-time buyers, because everybody's giving them bad advice. They don't know what to ask. Find a good realtor, and that realtor is going to be like, "I got you. These are what we're going to do. These are the steps we need to take, and this is the guidance that we're going to walk you down this little road, and we're not going to make sure you fall off.
yeah,
We're going to take care of you,
right,
because that's what we do."
right. That's
So,
exactly it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in, listening to tonight's episode. If you haven't already, you should have already liked all of our channels, Facebook, YouTube. Click the little bell so you get notified for all the things. And if you haven't told your friends about us, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and tell everybody about us. And we just thank you for being here. And until next time, we'll see you later.
See ya.